3, 2, 1. Hi everyone!
Thanks for tuning in to our second episode of Partners in Wine.
I'm Annie. I'm the Hospitality Director at Fujishin Family Cellars.
And I'm Drake. I am the Director of Member Services at Fujishin Family Cellars.
Today we are tasting 2 new wines, our 2018 Tempranillo under our Fujishin label, and our very first ever 2019 Albariño under our Free Dog Wine label.
Yeah, so our Free Dog Wine is actually a rebranded of the Lost West label that we had as our secondary label. The Free Dog label is more of our fun, very approachable. We focus on regional wines under this one. Our Albariño is fermented in stainless steel, making it very crisp and bright and refreshing. And that's actually the classic way of doing Albariño, right, Annie?
Yeah, it is. Albariño originates in Spain and Portugal. It's most known in the Vinho Verde region of Portugal, where they call it Albariño, but they make it in a fresh, crisp style, and actually in that region they tend to sometimes have it be a little lower alcohol and a little bit effervescent too, so very fresh and young when they drink it.
So what can we expect this to taste like, Annie?
Well, I've never tasted an Idaho Albariño before. Common notes on Albariños from other regions tend to have a lot of citrus. They can have honeysuckle notes on the nose. Sometimes they have melon notes, kind of like a honeydew melon. And they're also known for occasionally having a beeswax note. And a lot of people comment on Albariños having a note of saline, a salinity as well, which I would be interested to see if we find that on this. I would expect that we'll see some of those same notes on our Idaho Albariño, but we will probably also smell and taste some flavors that are unique to our Albariño, because as you know, grapes express different characteristics when they're grown in different places.
Terroir.
Terroir.
So our 2018 Tempranillo from Fujishin. So if you refer back to our first video that we did one tasting on our Lanai Ridge Tempranillo and then our Emerald Slopes Tempranillo, which were 2 different wines. This one is actually a blended version of those Tempranillos from the different vineyards. It spends 18 months on 20% new American oak.
And Tempranillo, in other regions, it is known to have a lot of cherry notes, plum, sometimes fig, and it also tends to have a lot of vanilla, tobacco, smoky character, and sometimes they can even be quite leathery.
And so this is another Spanish varietal. Why are there so many Spanish varietals?
Martin makes a lot of Spanish varietals, and part of the reason he does that is because we have a lot of reasons to believe that Spanish varietals do well in Idaho. So because we are on a similar place, latitude-wise, we do have a lot of similar climate factors. But there are going to be differences in the terroir and also the winemaking, so we can expect these to taste very good in both regions, but we should always expect that Idaho grapes are going to taste uniquely Idaho. Okay, cheers. So remember we talked a little bit about the bouquet notes that we might expect to see on this wine, and we talked about honeysuckle, and I'm getting that right off the bat, and also a lot of those citrusy notes that we talked about maybe seeing.
And speaking of bouquet, I actually get a lot of like floral notes as well on this one.
For sure. Very floral, very citrusy and fresh. But one thing that we didn't read about or taste in wine from other regions was that I'm getting a lot of pear, kind of a Bartlett pear character. And in fact, it
love
kind
pear,
of,
yes.
yeah, a lot. What? Because what kind of pear?
No, I got mine on my nose. It's more of the same on palate with that kind of the citrusy.
Citrus, a little bit of pear. What about the salinity that people talk about on Albariño? Do you think you get any of that?
I'm definitely getting some.
Maybe?
It's kind of on the back end on my tongue right there.
Maybe a little in the finish, yeah. What do you think this might pair with, Drake?
I think definitely kind of that light style white fish. Maybe like, I wish I really had some ceviche right now.
Yeah, with the citrus and the cilantro and the white fish. Gosh, yeah, some ceviche would be really, really nice.
Annie, you're such a good cook. This is really good.
Oh yeah, actually I am a really good cook, but I didn't cook this.
Well, where'd you get it?
I picked it up at Amano.
Amano is like my favorite Mexican place in downtown Caldwell. It's when I first went in there and I smelled the fresh tortillas, it actually took me back to when I was in Oaxaca and I smelled those fresh tortillas. They were freshly ground, probably in the back, and I just wish I was there again.
The ceviche has a lot of lime juice in it, and it's really bringing out the lime notes in the wine as well. They complement each other really well.
Yes.
It's a little bit spicy, which I think goes well with this. The wine's kind of a nice refreshing break from the spice.
It is. It actually, like, it transported me to, like, somewhere on a beach with, like, the ocean sea breeze just blowing in the wind. That's the beauty of wine, really. It transports you. Wine and food.
It totally does. So, what are you picking up on the nose of that Tempranillo?
I think I'm getting a lot of cherry and, like a woody character, like cherry wood, maybe.
I am getting definitely a little note of cherry wood smoke, and I'm also getting those smells of summer. They remind me of summer, sun-ripened berries. What I'm not getting so much of is the leather and the tobacco.
Yeah.
Maybe a little bit of the tobacco, but I'm not getting the leathery note that I sometimes taste on Tempranillos. And although that can be very pleasant, this is very pleasant too, this little bit lighter style.
And there's some vanilla characteristics going on, vanilla notes, maybe a little bit mocha, cocoa.
Yeah,
Not
definitely.
quite as much.
A little bit of a cocoa note. What do you think this would pair well with?
I think this would probably go well with like chicken and like a hearty sauce.
Right, like a lighter meat, but a hearty sauce.
Yes, exactly.
Maybe something with a little bit of spice, maybe something with like a little bit of cocoa.
Yeah, that's actually perfect. You read my mind.
Yeah, like mole.
Do you have mole?
I do have mole, Drake. So that mole has just the right amount of spice. And it's rich. You get a lot. It's some umami on the back.
Umami
of
with like probably like the cocoa. I mean that's kind of the base of mole is like a cocoa.
Brings out some cocoa notes on the Tempranillo.
I think it's more
for
of
sure.
that. And do you get more of the tomato coming out or no?
Definitely, I do on the Tempranillo. I don't know if there's tomato in the mole or not, but I think it brings out the tomato notes in the Tempranillo. And there's definitely a nice the spices in the mole and that spicy note in the wine, probably from the barrel that it was aged in. Those play really nicely. It's kind of a warm spice, and it's not overwhelming. It's just really pleasant.
It's a very good balance too. Like the wine isn't overpowering the mole doesn't overpower the wine. It's actually perfect in what you want in a pairing, kind of a palate cleanser for both of them.
Exactly. All right, guys, that's our show. We are going to finish our wine and our delicious food from Amano.
So if you like what you saw today and liked our first episode, make sure you like and subscribe down below, and make sure to leave us a comment, if you want to see us do something else or give us some feedback.
Thanks for watching.
Albariño, yes.
Stainless steel.
Yeah, look at you. I'm going.
I'll take a bite.